Hello and welcome to Scale Stuff. In this week's video, I'm going to be building the Zvezda 1/35 scale T90 main Russian battle tank. I wanted to build one of these tanks for a while now to complete my modern armour set and for the little red eyes either side of the gun. In the box you get black and white instructions, a decal sheet with lots of numbers, a sprue of clear parts and some string, and lots of sprues. This is looking like it's going to be quite a big kit, and this build video I can see already being a long one, so get comfy. I'm not sure if I can do a quick look at the sprues in this kit, as you can see there are so many. From the pre-build glance everything looks in order though. Being an older kit from 2011, there's a fair bit of flash on some of the parts and some seam lines that will need cleaning up as I go, but nothing out of the ordinary is jumping out at me. Anyway, let's get on with the build. First thing on the menu is the turret, which is strange for me as I'm used to doing the wheels and lower hull first. There are a lot of details on the turret and the instructions have a lot of sub-assemblies, so I'm getting the highlighter out for this kit to mark off parts as they're removed from the sprue and added to the tank. First thing to do is the hatches. Along the way in this build there is a bit of pre-painting that will have to be done on the internals for the lights and sensors. So far this is quite an involved build with lots and lots of things to add. I'm enjoying myself but dreading panel lines later on. After doing the upper turret panel and hatches, it's onto the lower turret. This bit's a bit of a fiddle, but with a bit of gentle nudging and bending it all goes together in the end. I'm going to leave it to dry before adding the top bit though. There is a little bit of a fit issue when adding the top of the turret to the bottom, but nothing that's not sortable. With the top on, it's time to add more details to the turret. I'm kind of shocked at the amount of gubbins I'm having to add. I've built Abrams, Challengers and Leopards in the past, but this T90 turret's a full kit in itself. I think with sub-assemblies, this turret has got 50 something stages to do. And yeah, it's kind of nice to see Zvezda have not cut any corners. It's all starting to come together now, but the more bits I add, the more I'm realising that painting this is going to be quite a task, as there are so many nooks and crannies that will have to be carefully checked during painting. Anyway, can't think too far forward, there's more bits to add. Now just to add a few more last bits to the turret. With them on, that's the turret done. I've been so used to building smaller scale models, this kit's come as a bit of a shock to the system. I've spent some 6 hours on just the turret at this point. Hopefully the lower hull area will be a bit quicker to build. Now onto the lower hull. The lower hull is thankfully a little less involved than the turret on this model. Lots of little bits to add here, but no issues with fit. Here on the lower hull was my first sigh at the kit as I went to make the main pieces for the lower hull. The base plate of this part was very much bent, but yeah, nothing that couldn't be sorted with a little bit of bending. From here on out though, it's back to simple steps. With the lower hull mostly built, it's time to paint the areas that I won't be able to get to later. For this I'm using Tamiya XF67 NATO Green. While I've got the brushes out, I also paint the wheels and tracks before beginning assembly. The tracks in this kit are rather nice. They're made in pre-assembled lengths of track to fit the guide wheels, giving you what I think is the best of both halfway house between rubber band and link tracks. The way the wheels go on is also a bit different to most models, as it has you add the inner half of the wheels before adding the tracks around them. Then, with them on, you add the outer half. The whole thing needs a bit of fine nudging to get it all lined up though, so I'd make to do all the steps 25 to 29 in one session. Tracks on, it's back to the final stages of the hull. This kit has been a very long, involved build, and I'm glad that the last part of this model has eased off on the fine detail. With the last final bits on, that's it built, and it's onto the painting. As you can see, because of all the nooks and crannies, a lot of the painting has been done along the way. I just need to finish off the first coat with more Tamiya XF67 NATO green. Two coats of NATO green on, it's onto the brown. For this, I'm using Tamiya XF78 Deck Tan. From here on out, I'm following a paint guide for a Meng T90A, as unfortunately the paint plan provided in this kit does not show a right hand or top view of the tank, which is a little bit disappointing from an otherwise excellent kit. With the brown on, it's onto the last of the camo colours, black. For this, I'm using Vallejo Black. With that done, it's time to add the decals. This model comes with a number sheet and just kind of lets you pick what you like. Looking at the wheels now though, I'm going to need to touch the green up, as the dregs of the last part have dried a strange colour. Decals on, I give the whole tank a wash of BS Dark Earth mixed with black to muck up the tank and tie all the colours together. With the main mud on, it's time to dry brush the tracks in some gunmetal. Tracks done, I'm having a go with something I tried in the last build video, mixing dark earth and khaki brown with some sand to make this tank look really mucky. I'm just going to layer this stuff on like the tank's been on exercise all day and the crew have been doing the best to get the thing stuck. It will also go a long way to hiding fingerprints on the side panels. With the dirt on, I go around the panel lines with some watered down black before dry brushing the tank very lightly in skeleton bone to give it a bit of a highlight. With most of it done, it's now just time to get the last tiny details. I go over the lights with some Tamiya clear red and highlight a few raised areas with the original colours. And I think, at that, I'm going to call it done. I'm reasonably happy with how this kit's come out, but I do think that the paint job's a bit messy compared to my normal standard. I do feel though that I've learnt a lot from painting this kit and tried out a few methods that will serve me well in the future. In conclusion, the 1/35 scale Zvezda T90 is an awesome kit. The model goes together well with only a few small fit issues, both of which are caused by slight warping in a few of the bigger pieces, but that's more than likely due to the kit sitting in storage for ages. I think that Zvezda have really pulled out the stops when they made this model. As compared to other Zvezda offerings I've built in the past, this one really stands out when it comes to attention to detail. I paid £22 for this model, which personally I think is a bargain. The kit can be picked up for new for around £34, which I think is a fair price for a very fine kit. I will say though that this is a very long and involved kit to build, as I think this kit was probably the longest of the builds I've done so far. It was also a tricky model to paint, with lots of nooks and crannies to check and double check when it comes to the painting stages, and yeah, this kit really tried my patience and staying power as a modeller. Because of this, I would say that this kit is more suited to an advanced modeller that likes very long and involved builds. I feel that this model would probably be a bit daunting for someone just getting into the hobby, and yeah, would probably be best left for a while until they got a few more builds under the belt. Anyway, that's my review of the Zvezda 1/35 scale T90. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and find this build and review helpful if you're building one of these at home. Until next time though, look after yourselves and have a good one. Goodbye.